Our next speaker is Melissa Jackson. She's an intervention specialist for the New Jersey Region 7 Achievement Center. She's taught inclusion at Monongahela Middle School in Deptford Township for 9 years. She earned her BA from Rowan University and earned a middle school math certificate from Rowan. And she's a T3 regional instructor and universal design for learning specialist at Monongahela Middle School.
Thank you. Okay, so I'm totally out of my comfort zone. I normally use Prezi, but we'll give it our best shot here. So what you see here is data which shows that in something called the Include grant, we got 52% of our special ed students to be proficient in 8th grade math as a result of using something called Universal Design for Learning. And it was a comparison of other district factor groups which were more affluent, so we outscored those districts as a result of that implementation. And then this is parent feedback about how their students were transformed and went from students who were very timid to confident learners by the end of the year. And then this just shows that we made New Jersey's top 10 at Monongahela Middle School for the African American population as a result of implementation of Universal Design for Learning. And then you'll see the next slide. We'll talk about the instructional model. And we had 82-minute block, and in that block we streamlined our mini lesson portion of the lesson to only 20 to 25 minutes, and then gave students choice for how they were going to independently practice the content or the objective for that day. And at the same time did small group instruction. So this is just going over the definition of universal design for learning, but basically it's all about the fact that we know that our brains vary and students vary in the classroom, so we cannot use a one-size-fits-all model. We really have to design our lessons so that they're meeting the diversity of the students that we have in our classroom. And then under the umbrella of UDL is differentiating instruction, performance-based assessment, multisensory learning. And then there are three main principles of universal design for learning. And then along with those principles, we have three brain networks, and the recognition network has to do with what we do in our mini lesson to represent information in multiple ways, and then the strategic network has to do with allowing students to act on and express what they learn in other ways and to do it more strategically other than just paper pencil. Paper pencil is crucial, but we really have to have students have other avenues to act on information. And then we have the affective network, and if you think about the affective network, that's the network that has to deal with how we are motivated to learn. So we've got to create learning environments that students are really excited about actually coming to learn our math and get hooked on the learning as well. So again, this is more of a graphic organizer, which then shows how the three main principles work, and underneath of those principles, and I will really say that the most important of those principles is multiple means of engagement, which again has to do with the affective network. And this is just an example of a choice menu bulletin board. And then you're going to see something flash up where it's an actual paper choice menu, so giving students choices, but at the same time students are working independently on choices. The teacher is then delivering small group instruction. So teacher is not facilitating these activities. Students are working independently and helping each other. This is an example of one of the choices where students actually create their own facing math. They create their own design, their own problems, correct answers and wrong answers. So this student is very artistic. So they actually went home on their own and created those problems and the design from scratch. So the whole idea of all of this is getting students hooked on the math and getting them totally immersed in the math according to their learning strength. And this is just, again, emphasizing the vocabulary. These students here, and you can't hear the video, but they created a math rap from scratch. And again, the students are taking ownership of their learning as opposed to just the teacher doing a traditional lecture and having students practice from a worksheet, giving students other ways that they can express their knowledge and act on what they've learned in the classroom, and then show you what they've learned as well. And it totally emphasizes giving them multiple ways to perceive what you've taught them, giving them multiple ways to act on it, and then the engagement piece. This is another example of another teacher, how they actually have students reflect on their learning on a daily basis. They give them the choice, but then at the end of class, they can reflect on how well they did with those choices. So again, the big emphasis and universal design for learning is making sure you know student weaknesses so that you can really tailor and design your lessons to really emphasize the strengths of your students. And I have here really implementation. We really want to make sure, and what I'm doing too is working with teachers from many different districts throughout New Jersey and making sure that they know that implementation of UDL is crucial, especially because we want to get students to perform better in math, especially the special ed populations and populations we have not been able to reach in the traditional structured classroom. So thank you very much for your attention. I appreciate it.